Hello, Braves country. It's Coach Ken Anderson coming to you for Hardcore Braves. And just let me get it out of here before I welcome my two in here. To hell with the Dodgers. All right, guys, I will get you two in here. It's my two main men, Ryan and Ben. Ryan, how the heck you doing tonight?
I'm terrible, Ken. We should have swept the Dodgers. Should have freaking swept them. But I'll take 2 out of 3. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, how about you, Ben?
Man, I'm all right. I feel like we just destroyed the Death Star from the evil empire, so we're doing all right.
Yeah, I love their sad faces when they go back to the dugout and we beat them. And to be honest with you, we come this close as a 6-3 road trip, almost turned into an 8-1 road trip through our toughest road trip. So very exciting. We got a lot to cover tonight. Y'all stay with us for the whole thing because we got a bunch. Game one. Let's get to game one. So we get Sale against Sheehan. Sale goes 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 7 Ks. He's typical Chris Sale. He does talk about the home run, the extra home run that he gives up on Freddie as a big play, which it was, but we just wasn't hitting. He did give up an unearned run. The Jarvis kid played great defense, and he smoked a 97-mile-an-hour fastball over to Olson's head. But overall, Ben, what'd you think about Sale on Friday night?
I mean, he's looked better and better and better as the year's gone on so far. I mean, Chris is really rounded into form, and we know that he hasn't had his A+ game stuff here recently to start the year, but he's to do that against the Dodgers lineup. I'll take that every day.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? 7 innings, two runs, and 2 earned runs, 3 runs total. I mean, you can't ask for anything more out of Chris Sale. I mean, that's your number one going out there and just absolutely dominating. The offense is where my problem was in game one. I think they did a really poor job of execution that game. Unfortunately, when you what was it, like 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position or something
Yeah,
ridiculous? Yeah,
yeah,
you can't win baseball games when you're 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And I don't want to hear any slander from Austin Riley. Do you understand? He was 2 for 4 and he drove in the only daggum run that game. Michael Harris was 4 for 4, by the way, too. That was pretty solid. Good pick to click there, Ken.
Thank you. Real quick, just give we're always hard on him, but Aaron got through an inning for him in the eighth inning, so that was good for Aaron Bummer. We're not going to really talk on Aaron. We've talked enough on him, and he's doing the best he can. So that's up to Alex to decide how long he pitches for us. So we're not going to get on that. So brought up, the two guys who actually hit in the game were Michael Harris, 4 for 4, and Austin Riley, 2 for 4. Both of them had really good days, Ben. And every ball they hit and put in play was over 105 miles an hour, which is tremendous, Ben. So talk about those two. They were two that had the real good game in this.
Yeah, I mean, it looked kind of like Michael was slowing down a little bit by that quad injury, just a smidge. But I mean, he came out swinging this series, and good for him. He had a very good series as well, And then Austin Riley, he has looked just like Chris Sale. He has looked more and more like himself as the season has gone on, and we all should have known that this was going to happen because this is what happened every year with Austin Riley. He'll start off looking like he wouldn't be successful in low A ball, but then as the year goes on and as the weather warms up, he turns into an absolute monster. So, I'm loving what I'm seeing from both of those guys, and I liked what I saw in the series. I don't really have any complaints at
Yeah.
all,
No.
except for like Ryan said, going 1 for 10 with risk
Yeah.
in game one. But that's
Yeah.
nitpicky at this point.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. That's really what cost us game. Real quick, Ryan, on Austin, we kept warning everybody, Drake and Ozzy and Matt, you cannot expect them just to keep on hitting 350 and 400. It's really nice to see Austin getting hot while Ozzy and Drake and Matt are kind of trying to figure out some things as they go along, don't you think?
Yeah, for Austin, this series, it's just the most comfortable that I think I've seen him in, and since God 23 when he was really really good. I think today there was one at bat where he just spit on pitches like he was just not even interested in them out of the hand. And that's what you want to see out of Austin. When he is spitting on something straight out of the hand, he is locked into his approach. He knows what pitches he wants to attack, and he doesn't attack anything else. So this series was a really positive sign. I don't need him to hit home runs. I need him to have that approach consistently. The only other thing that I will say that I really need to see him do is really start driving the ball to right center field again. Otherwise, I mean, I think he is just a tick, and I mean maybe half a tick off right now. He looks so much better at the plate.
Yeah, he really does, and I'm with you. But I think that'll come, and I'm like you. Just hit the ball hard, Austin. It'll eventually go out of the yard. All right, so the game is 1-1. We did a whole breakdown, Ben. Ben had some stuff going on with his youngins, but I get a chance to Ben to jump in here on this big pivotal play in the game. It's a 1-1 game. Michael's at first. Now, look, we all know Michael's healthy now just from this one play. Riley hits a double over top of Teoscar Hernandez's head. Teoscar is one of the worst left fielders in the game defensively. So Tommy Watkins says, let's just try to score him here. And for all things, Teoscar makes one of the best throws he's made. And then Miguel Rojas threw an absolute P to Will Smith for the out. Both me and Ryan thought he might have still got under the tag. Overall, what do you think, Ben, of the play by the Dodgers? It was the pivotal play. It really changed the game, how well they executed it. And what do you think about Tommy in the sin right there?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta believe that Tommy was thinking Michael is fast enough. He can take care of he can score on that play. And you got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, that's just a hell of a play by the Dodgers. Teoscar played that ball perfectly off the wall. And then, the shortstop did perfect relay to the catcher. Michael, it just happened. It is what it is. I can't blame Tommy Watkins for sending him right there. Michael's one of your faster base runners. So, it's just a good play by the Dodgers. Going to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, he was safe. That last angle is what shows him safe. That Will went to reach and realized he couldn't get to him and tagged him in the crotch. Pretty much a perfect play by the Dodgers there, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, it took two perfect throws, and I mean, the ball literally hit in the most perfect spot of the fence for it to just die and fall in Teoscar's lap, because otherwise, if it hits anywhere off that fence, I don't think he gets that perfect carom. So, again, like we broke it down on Coach's Corner, it took a perfect relay, two perfect throws. Dodgers executed it beautifully. You tip your hat. I still think Harris was safe, by the way, just saying.
Yeah, I do too. All right, so the problem in this game, we were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. You're just not going to win many games. Walt brought it up. Even Chris Sale brings it up when he talks about getting up the home run. When you're struggling offensively, every run matters in a ball game. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position, and God bless them. It was the top part of the lineup that really struggled. They've been great for us this year, but Dubon, Baldwin, Ozzie, and Matt were 1 for 17 in this game. And Ben, it's just hard for anybody's lineup when their big top four hitters have a night like that, isn't it? You just hard to score.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the Dodgers in this series. Everybody talks about their top four in the lineup. You got Mookie when he's healthy, Shohei, Freddie, Teoscar, Max Muncy, and those guys aren't really hitting that well right now. And look at what's going on. They're dropping series to the Braves, and then they dropped a series earlier in the year to the Rockies. I mean, it's hard for anybody, even the feared Dodgers, to get something going whenever their middle of the order bats are struggling. And I think that Matt Olson, he struck out, not to skip ahead, but he did strike out 3 times today. But then he came up and hit a home run in his last at bat. Your big bats are going to show up more times than not, and I think that those guys are really kind of turning it around. But like you said, you have the guys in the bottom of the order who are there to also pick up the slack whenever the top of the order is not really doing to the best of their abilities. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from the Braves lineup. Still 7 runs scored in back-to-back games. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's a good one. And Ryan, just to be honest with you, we're going to have games where the top four is going to do this, and we're probably going to lose them. And this does not surprise when we lost. The Twitter reaction on how we were scared in LA and all that stuff is a little over the top because they're not scared of the Dodgers. Trust me. They've never been scared of the Dodgers. Dodgers are a great team that just happens to beat us a lot. But I think the tails are getting turned right now. But 1 for 17 by your top four is just not first four batters not going to do it, is it, Ryan?
No, when your big bats are just, I mean, when they're that, lack for a better term, that bad in a game, you're not going to win many games. It's just, it is what it is. But I mean, what really frustrated me this game was just I think those guys just didn't have the greatest approach, and they consistently chased pitches that they probably shouldn't have. For instance, in that first inning, and I'm not picking on him, it's just the one that always stood out to me. Matt Olson got a fastball, so it's straight. It didn't cut, it didn't sink. It was a straight four-seam fastball that was probably 6 inches inside off the plate, and he pops it up to the second baseman. Like, those should not happen. Like, and they were consistently happening in game one because I mean, Sheehan was somebody that we should have absolutely crushed, and he escaped this game. He didn't thrive in this game. He escaped this game with minimal damage, and it wasn't because we were not better than him. And that was the frustrating part for me. You know, a guy that you should hit and you game plan and you just don't go execute the game plan, that's where it really irritates me. But I mean, they bounced back the next two games, so you can't really, be that upset about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, one last
And
thing.
in
Go ahead, Ben.
the grand scheme of things, sorry, Ken. But the grand scheme of things, we're playing 162 of these bad boys. You're gonna have a game where, or even a stretch of games, really, where your team is not going to be able to, scratch or claw across many runs, and that's okay. Because truth be told, we still have the best team in baseball, in my opinion. We still have the best offense in baseball, and God forbid we have the best Bryce Elder in baseball. So, we're the Braves. There's nothing to panic about, and the people who press the panic button after one bad game or two bad games in a row, it's like, come on, man, you got to understand this is a Major League Baseball season. You're not going to go 162-0 no matter how much you try, and that's just the fact of the matter.
Yeah, but with that said, Ben, I appreciate that thought, but you're always trying to look to see why you got beat in the game. This is not us being negative, Ben. This is us saying this is how we got beat. And the fact of the matter was the Dodgers bullpen has been horrible, horrible for the last 2 weeks. And they went to guys when they'd knock Sheehan out of the game. And for the next 4 innings, they brought up guys who'd been hit on, and we did absolutely nothing. Now, the good thing is we adjusted very quick. Dubon was the best one to get the interview. He said, I had a piss poor effort tonight, and it won't happen again. And he went out Saturday and Sunday, and you know what? Didn't happen again. Mauricio Dubon is a beast, and he thinks he should get a hit every time with a runner on base.
I love that dude.
And when he goes 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, he has a right to be upset, especially against piss poor middle relief pitching that he faced in that game. So I just want to throw that out there because we're not going to be this. I know y'all don't want us to be up here either. We're going to try to be middle ground. The fact of the matter is the Braves played a bad game, and that's okay. If they bounce back and take the next two, game two, we decided to put Spencer Strider on the mound, and they decided to go with Blake Snell, which was very interesting, by the way. You can only throw 75 pitches. And I told my friend Katie Wu, I hope Katie's watching this, he wouldn't make it through but 3 innings, and that's what he got out of that. But in this game, that guy Mauricio Dubon, who said it won't happen again, come up and cleared the bases for us. And he had a big night. And remember I told you the 1 for 17 in the first 4 in game 1? 7 for 17 in game 2, Ben. That's a little bit better, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys, it's so fun to see these guys, make up for their mistakes the night before. Because last year you'd watch these games go by, and I mean, it was just every single day. It was like everything that could go wrong was going wrong for this team. And now they have one bad game, and I have full faith that the next game they're going to come back and they're going to right the ship again. And that's something that I did not think last year at all. So good on them. 7 for 17. That's a hell of a turnaround.
It is. It's amazing. And give you this here, Ryan, 3 walks on top of that. They reached base 50% of the time, scored 3 runs, had 5 RBIs, Ryan. Now, if they do that every game, we're not going to lose a game.
No, I mean 7 for 17 is getting it done, man. That dog will hunt every day of the week, and I mean, if anybody's going to complain about that, I don't know what to tell you. But they had a really solid game plan against Snell, and it was a very simple one. They said, you know what, we're just going to see the ball up in the zone because his slider is absolutely devastating and it breaks out of the zone. So they're just like, you know what, screw it, we're going to attack the ball that we see up in the zone, and that's exactly what they did. And they scored, I think, a few off of Blake. I can't remember how many off of Blake, but he when you get this guy up to 7 pitches in 3 innings, you're making that dude work. And that is you putting your game plan into action. That is you executing your game plan to dang near perfection. And there's nothing else that needs to be said. The Braves, they were pissed off and they came back and they executed their game plan and they did what they needed to do to get the W. They were fantastic in game 2.
Shoot, yeah. Now, this is where I'm going to let Ben off on you people. I don't know why y'all's reaction on the Strider start in Colorado was the way it was. And we all got on there, Twitter, ourselves, and social media and said, look, guys, let's let him get another start in and see what he does. And this is his line. You can take him here. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. He looked like vintage Strider, Ben. So go ahead and tell everybody how they just need to not do this with pitchers and let them just get going, because I'll let you have the floor on this one. Hammer them for all I care, because Strider is going to be a big part of the Braves' success this year.
Yeah, he looked so much more confident this start. I mean, last start in Colorado, that's a hell of a fire to feed him to right out the gate. Hey, big boy, you're going to Colorado, and you're gonna make your first start of the year out in Denver. And then after that, oh yeah, let's throw you against the good old Dodgers out in L.A. Yeah, I'm very glad at how Spencer Strider handled himself. He looked so much more confident. The fastball, it was sitting around 94 to 97 mile per hour, but he was getting, 17 inches of IVB on his fastball, which is equivalent to around what he was doing in 2023, which is when he was very, very good still. And he doesn't need that 99 in his back pocket. So all those people out there crying about his velo not being where it was, he doesn't need that. He has a good enough fastball that's going to really help him take that next step and get back to being the Spencer Strider of old, like he was against the Dodgers. Now that right there that just showed that curveball, that is a huge, huge addition to his arsenal that has become just a massive pitch. We all know the slider is great. We all know that, but the curveball, that is going to be his weapon to get more swing and miss, because it's slower. It's going to have more vertical break than the slider is, and it's going to get a lot of guys off balance, as it did in that Dodgers game. And so Strider, don't worry about him. He is going to be just fine. He looked fantastic against them, and I'm very happy to see him all the way back.
Yeah, I think he's going to be massive. And I tweeted a text out to all my friends, y'all too. If this is the Strider we get, I'm going to go ahead and get ready for the World Series. I tell you, the bat that I knew, wait a minute, this is a different Strider. This is, Gwinnett coaches said they thought he was vintage Strider. That's why they brought him up. They said, no, this guy, now look, Colorado, just throw it off. But you remember the Ohtani bat? Yeah, he didn't hit 99, but he threw 97 by him, Ryan, and then turned around and threw 98 to strike him the first bat. And the look on Ohtani's face was like, what the hell just happened? This is not the guy I've seen the last 3 years. So what do you think about that, Ryan? If this is the Strider we get the rest of the year and he becomes either the number 2 or 3 starter in the playoffs, it's starting to look pretty strong, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it wasn't just like Ben said. The breaking ball was great, and I mean, obviously he's got a good slider, good curveball, but he also mixed in the changeup pretty well, and his changeup had really good, like it tunneled very well with his fastball, and it also had that little drop action on it, and he was locating all of his pitches where he wanted to for the most part. He looked really solid, and I think there's about 29 other big league teams that would take Spencer Strider as their number 2 in any playoff situation if they had their choice. So if we're getting that Strider. And, oh, yeah, by the way, we got a chance of getting Schwelly back at some point this year, hopefully. And we're getting Waldrop back at some point, hopefully. I mean, and you got Sale as your number 1. You're looking pretty solid. And Bryce Elder, I know you guys who absolutely shitted on Bryce Elder. his
Not me.
entire
Never me.
career. I
Nope. Not me.
know it. You just can't stand it, but he might be starting Game 3, and he looks absolutely fantastic. So I mean, the rotation is shaping up to be pretty good.
Yeah, and again, I mean, they're right. The curve and slider are excellent, but this velo thing they keep talking about, they're showing video of him throwing the ball 96 miles an hour by him. This is a 95 mile an hour for. There's nothing wrong with his velo. Like Ben said, you can pitch at 95 and 96 with an unhittable slider and unhittable curveball. You know that guy is from the left side? Chris Sale. So stop with this 99 stuff. Mr. Spencer Strider has learned how to pitch, and pretty excellent. So one other thing to talk about is Raylo. Raylo went 2 innings, and you can tell it is mechanics now, Ben. First
Yeah.
5 batters, he looked great. And then all of a sudden he got off just a tick and he gives up a 2 run homer. So I'm actually more encouraged by what I saw him giving up the 2 runs because I could see it in the game what they're talking about with mechanics. I think Raylo's going to eventually get there for this year, Ben, don't you?
Yeah, and honestly, I really like him in the bullpen spot that he's in. I think that's doing wonders for his confidence too, because even if his mechanics are a little bit off, he showed that he can dominate through 5, 6 batters, before that really becomes an issue. And it's something he can work on. He can look at the tape. He can see like, hey, I'm flying open here when I, need to be a little bit more closed, or I'm dropping my arm angle a couple of degrees, whatever it may be. It's something that he can really take advantage of and look at. And being in the bullpen, it kind of keeps him from getting rattled, because if you're in the starter, you're out there on an island. You're I know it from experience. If you're a starting pitcher and you're out there, you are out there to get outs, as many outs as humanly possible, before you can't do it anymore. And as a reliever, you can leave it all out there. You don't have to worry about that as much. So I think it's doing good for his confidence, and he can really take his time to figure out whatever's going on.
I do too. And how about you, Ryan, on Raylo? I think I saw some things that I think are encouraging because I think it is mechanics with him now.
I hope it is. His slider definitely was not sharp after the his first inning of work. It was a lot more spinny, hangy, if you will, cement mixer ish. His fastball velo kind of was inconsistent. It would go anywhere from 94 to 92, 91 at times. And I don't need Raylo to hit 100 miles an hour, right? But I would like to see him consistently get to 94, 96 range with a consistently good breaking slider, and locate your changeup every once in a while. I know CJ was saying that they think Raylo is going to get back in the rotation. I just don't see that happening at this point in the year. I think he's a bullpen arm from here on out, unfortunately for Raylo. But that doesn't mean he can't be a fantastic reliever, because he's done it in the past, but he needs to get more consistent with his mechanics and really figure it out. But again, it's an injury. It's a player coming off an injury. It's going to take some time. He missed an entire year. He's got to get that muscle memory back, and it takes some time. So we just got to be patient with Raylo. There's going to be some hiccups along the way, and we're just going to have to wear it once in a while when he does have those hiccups.
Yeah, it's in his arm drag. He's dragging on this. This is, you can see it. So that's just mechanic to me. I think he'll figure it out. So real quickly, they also had a big thing. Let's give Dodgers some love here, Ben, because Bobby Cox passed that morning. We did a tribute to him. The Braves did, but I thought it was really classy how the Dodgers handled that and having a big ceremony for him and Ted Turner. Just your thoughts about Bobby. This is a good time to put it in because he passed on Saturday before this ball game.
Yeah. As far as Bobby Cox goes, he was the manager that I knew whenever I was growing up watching the Braves, and he meant a lot to me, and to pretty much everybody else in Braves country, and all the players, absolutely, in front office and everybody. Um, and Bobby was just a fantastic manager and seemingly a great person off the field as well. Um, and not congrats, but thank you to the Dodgers for really being a classy organization when it comes to that, and doing the best that they could to honor a baseball, not just Braves, but a baseball legend and another baseball legend in Ted Turner as well. I mean, it's very classy move by the Dodgers, and they gained a lot of respect from me, especially for how they handled those situations.
Yeah, I agree. And me and Ryan was saying on the tribute we had that we was hoping they'd do something. So, Ryan, did they meet your expectations on what they did?
Yeah, they did great. I mean, especially since Bobby wasn't part of the organization, the tribute that they put together for that situation. I mean, it was a good part, what, 10, 15 minutes or so. It was a really good tribute. So I thank you to the Dodgers for that, but I still can't stand you, and I still want to beat the absolute living piss out of you every time we play you. Thank you, guys.
I agree with you. So good for them. We just wanted to give them some love. So let's go to Game 3. If you like the final score of Game 2, the Braves said, "Okay, let's give you another one, 7-2." I went to do the game recap, and I had to do a second take. Ben, you can imagine when I said 7-2, I thought I did it wrong, and I started over again. But same score. So let's get in the game. Let's go talk about the pitching first. Bryce Elder, 5 2/3 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 4 walks, and he had 8 strikeouts. Part of the problem was, and he talked about it. I'm glad he talked about it in the interview. I was going to do a big thing on it, but Bryce is smart enough to know this. In the 6th inning, he's going alone, and he got off just a little bit, and he got excited because it was in that big moment, and he could not adjust, and he ended up throwing like 12 straight balls, and he walks the bases loaded. But overall, I like the fact that he recognized what he was doing. He was rushing to home plate, made everything go high and wide. He'll fix that, and he'll be good. But Bryce has been special for us this year, hasn't he been?
Yeah, I mean, coming from somebody who's never once said a bad word about Bryce Elder on this podcast or social media
You
or any
sit
other
on a throne
podcast.
of lies.
Well, on this
Um,
podcast, he's never said a bad word. I got to back him there. But there some of the other podcasts, and I don't know.
Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I want to formally apologize to Bryce Elder and all big Texas fans out there because that man right there has absolutely destroyed any kind of view that I had of him before this season. He has come in and he has really just learned how to pitch. And I think a lot of that has to do with Greg Maddux. And, kudos to Bryce Elder, too, for being able to actually listen to something that a great in this game had to say. Because it's very easy for a lot of these guys to let, advice or information go in one ear and out the other, considering, from even coming from somebody as great as Greg Maddux was. My favorite line is still when Bryce Elder was talking about his slider and saying it was a swing and miss pitch, and Greg Maddux looked at him and said, "Oh, you're a swing and miss pitcher," and that's just, I don't know, that's just great. That's just great comedy to me.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, and then it felt like everything has kind of clicked since then, and Bryce Elder and Greg Maddux have just really helped turn his career around, and he's looked awesome.
Yeah. How about what's your thoughts on Bryce today? It was funny though. The Dodgers were having looks at him like they did against Strider. Like, what am I watching here, Ryan?
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him. I mean, you got a cutter going into, you got a sinker going away, you got a changeup dropping below the zone, you got a slider that looks like it's going to be the fastball, and it just absolutely falls off the table. I mean, you saw it from Otani. He blew fastballs right on by him. He was getting in on his hands. I think my favorite strikeout of the day was Dalton Rushing with the front door two seamer that he got Maddoxed on. So it was a really good look. I know he had 3 walks. I know he struggled there in the 6th inning to end it, but I mean, overall, man, when you can go into the Dodger Stadium and absolutely carve up that lineup, you're doing something right. And it's not just a little bit. You guys are seeing it over the course of a month and a half, just about now, that he's been a really good pitcher. He's been one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, and this I don't think this is fake. He's shown really good stuff. He's shown that he's had good command for the most part, and he knows how to get outs. And he gives you 6 innings just about every time. It's funny. Every time I see Bryce Elder now, I'm like, oh, we're getting 6 innings today. I don't even have to worry about it. So, and you know how nice it is for the bullpen to go in there, like, we got Bryce going today. We don't have to worry about it until the 6th.
You know,
Awesome.
he at one point before he had the 12 pitch walk, the 12 straight balls. I thought he was going to go deep, like the 7th, 8th inning. He was throwing that well. Um, so let's get to the play. So they had to bring in Suarez, and God bless him. guys are human. He finally had his first hiccup. He just didn't feel good. That sometimes the ball don't come out right. He gets a 3-2 count, and they don't miss it. But Eli White makes maybe one of the best catches you'll ever see, Ben. I mean, that was just tremendous. He crashes into the wall. We'll talk about the injuries coming out of this game a little bit, but he gets banged up. Just a huge play there. They really saved the game, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If that ball falls, I truly think that this game gets turned around. I mean, momentum's a real thing. So, if that ball falls and the Dodgers get some momentum going behind them, I thoroughly think that this game could have ended up very different than it did.
Yeah, Ryan, and we got our outfielders will go crashing into the wall for sure, won't they? It's two on the road trip. Hell of a catch by Eli there.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I was like, you could see off the bat he had pretty good beat on it, but I mean the ball was absolutely smoked, so there's no guarantee. But he made a leaping catch at the wall and just absolutely ate it when he crashed into the wall. I mean, it was a fantastic play to catch it and then to hang on to it because there was no bracing there. That was just face planting into the wall, and I know that didn't feel good. So Eli, I hope you get better soon, man, because you were looking not just great in the field, but he was even contributing pretty well in the box. And I just hate it when guys are starting to find their mojo that they get hurt and they got to miss time. So hopefully it's not too much time for Eli and he can continue making those good plays in the outfield because he has been really big for us since Ronald's been out.
And Eli kind of runs a little unlucky in baseball. It seems like when he finally starts getting going at the plate, he has these kind of weird things. So I'm with you. I hope Eli's all right. So let's get to the offense. Mauricio Dubon promised us he was not going to miss with runners in scoring position. He gets the bases loaded, clears them with a double. Ryan did a great job in Bray's hip coil breaking out. I love Justin Robleski, but he is hittable. I actually said the same thing, and Ryan broke down how to do that. Well, the first inning, they did absolutely none of that, Ryan. But then they adjusted, and they were able to hit him. Really good job of the offense making the adjustments there.
Yeah, he did. They did a fantastic job, especially in that. And I really wish I could replay that whole Dubon at bat because first pitch was didn't even offer at it. I think he fouled one off, and then he got a slider that started like a little bit like right at the mid thigh, and he's just like, I don't want that because your fastball is going to be up in the zone, so I want the pitch up. So he just was backing out of the box, like he was not even interested in it. So for ball two. Then he gets the hanging slider, and he absolutely peppers that thing down the left field line for the bases clearing double. Like, that is the things that I have been looking for in each and every game from these hitters. Like, are you actually attacking the pitcher the way that you need to be successful? And 90% of the time, the guys are doing that. And again, today, Dubon with a solid approach, and he didn't miss the pitch that he needed. And he ripped it and opened the game wide open early on, and that's big.
Amen. Which comes first, Ben, in your eyes? Dubon gets an extension or Dubon gets a statue?
I think the extension might come a little bit sooner, but the statue ain't going to be too far behind.
Yeah, he's tremendous. In this game, also offensively, this Baldwin had really struggled a little bit lately on the road trip. When he does this opposite field home run, you feel like Drake's starting to center back in on one, isn't he, Ryan? He's getting there.
Yeah, he got a little. This game was great for. I think this series in general. I know he didn't have great stats, but his at bats were a lot better. I think he got really chase happy. I think that's been like the thing early in the year for him compared to last year. And this series, he had a lot of walks. He took a lot of pitches, and he finally got one in his honey hole, the fastball, because I think he was hunting that fastball low in the zone for whatever reason. So he was kind of chasing the slider early, but he got one, and he didn't miss it on Robleski. But Drake, like I said, I don't think he's going to be a guy who's going to be slumped and for long. He might slump for a week here and he might slump for a week there, but he's not going to be a guy who's going to have a cold month, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. And Ben, the another home run comes from Matt Olson, like you said. I'll let you talk about that. He struck out 3 times, and then Robleski was a little tough on him, but then he finally sees this little sinker and he crushes it out of the ballpark. And that's what I've seen from Matt this year. He's so confident. Even if you get him a few times, he's probably going to come back and get you, isn't he, Ben?
Yeah, and just going on Robleski, it is very weird to see a pitcher's line go 8 2/3 innings with 7 earned. You don't see something like that very often. But going back to Matt Olson, yeah, he that guy has turned himself into one of the best pure hitters in baseball. Not just a power hitter. All right, not just a contact hitter, whatever. He has turned himself into one of the best overall. I would say top 10 hitters, period, in the sport. And he ain't. He yeah. I was about to say top 5 is not out of the question. Um, he's another one like Drake Baldwin. I have full confidence in him that he's not going to go into prolonged slumps anymore. I don't think he's going to have a month where he's hitting under 200. I don't think he's going to have 2-3 weeks where he's hitting under 200 anymore. I think those days are behind him, and he's worked very hard to get to where he's at. And kudos to him for that.
Yeah, the game gets finished by Iglesias. Ho hum, comes in, throws a few pitches, gets out of there. That's what Iglesias does. That's what's great about him is he doesn't waste pitches. So even if you bring him in a game like 7-2, you're not worried about him running up to 20 pitches. So he does a good job. We wanted to address Tyler Kinley. Thoughts his first 12 appearances, 11 innings, 1 earned run. Last 7 appearances, 6 earned runs and 6 1/3. So we'll start with you, Ryan. What do you think's going on with Tyler?
Walks. His walk rate has increased a pretty significant amount. It's probably almost doubled. I think he's had 4 walks in like 6 innings, and it was like 5 walks in like 11 or 12
Correct.
innings.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I think walks are like, and I've told y'all this. Well, my one thing with pitchers is do not walk people because that's when you really get in trouble. So walks, and me and you touched on it the other day. He's probably tired, right? That's why his curveball and slider are starting to flatten out a little bit at the top of the zone. And I think that was another case today. He got into a long inning. He started throwing too many pitches, and he hung another breaking ball, and Muncy parked one. But I think that's just it, man. It's just that if he doesn't walk that guy, Muncy doesn't come up to the plate, and then you're out of the inning scot-free. So I think it's going to be getting your command back in order and getting a little bit more rest. But he should be ready to go for the Chicago series. So really just focus on your command and stop walking people.
Yeah, I bet you, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The overusage of Tyler Kinley has been kind of apparent for the past week and a half. He's gotten pretty tired, and you can tell because he's not able to command, his curveball the way that he was commanding it earlier in the year. And like Ryan said, his walk rate has gone up, and that's just a recipe for disaster whenever you're a reliever. Your whole point of being a reliever is to come in. These guys have to get a fresh look at you, and you can get a fresh look at them and set them down, 1, 2, 3. But when you're not doing that, you're giving guys prolonged at bats, prolonged looks. That's just going to be the name of the game, and you're going to get punished for doing stuff like that, for not commanding your pitches the way you need to, and et cetera.
One of the things I pointed out I talked to Greg, and he was asking me what I thought was going on. Same thing with Pierce. Sometimes you can get in love with your off speed too much. And I think he'd get out of it a little bit with his fastball. To Ryan's point, though, I think he's a little tired. He doesn't think he can throw his fastball by people. So I was really wanting him to get the whole Dodger series off. I understand why Walt went to him today. But it's something he's going to have to get through. But yeah, he's definitely can't walk people, and he's got to trust his fastball a little more. So that's where we're at in that. So we'll get into the rest of it because we'll have to preview the Cubs. Let's go ahead and get into the play of the series. Man, that's a weird series. So I don't know where you go, Ben, but what's your play of the series?
Play of the series got to be Eli White. I mean, that cat right there, that's heart. That is heart and hustle, and that is something that we want to see from every single one of these guys every night. And good on him. I hope he's okay. I hope everything, gets better, all that good stuff. But man, I that's just a hell of a play, and hats off to him.
Yeah, how about you, Ryan?
I got 2. I'm not going to mention Eli just because Ben did, and I want to be a little bit different, but that was one hell of a play and probably one of the best catches you'll ever see in your lifetime. So hats off to Eli and get better. But how about the bases clearing double from Ozzie Albies and Mauricio Dubon? I think those were big turning points in both games 2 and 3, especially when if you don't get anything, that game looks a whole lot different. So big clutch hits right there that really helped the Braves pull through this series.
I agree. Since y'all took the 2 that I was kind of thinking, I did have a third one. Yeah, y'all got me. What happens when you go last? I'm going to be kind of funny here, but I'm being serious. I'm going to go with the pivotal play in game one, the Dodgers' perfect relay, because I don't think if they make that, I think we're going to sweep their ass. I really do. I think we're the better team. I saw a lot of looks from Dodger players like, this is a problem. That doesn't mean the Dodgers can't get right. We don't play them at the end of August. But right now in baseball, I guarantee the Dodgers have played the Cubs and us now, and the Padres. They've played all these teams, and the Cardinals. They've played a bunch of teams, and I would say they think the Braves are the best team. I really do. That's how good I think they are. So before we get into the MVP talk of the series, okay, MVP talk of the series, I think this is the hardest series to pick an MVP all year. Do y'all agree?
I know mine already.
Ben does it, so go for it, Ben. You're up, buddy.
I got the starting rotation is my MVP.
That's good.
Those guys just came in and did fantastic. I mean, Chris Sale, what was it, 7 innings, 2 runs, against that lineup, and then Spencer Strider coming in 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, and then Bryce Elder today 5 2/3 with no runs allowed. I mean, those guys, you can't ask for better against one of the top offenses in baseball, and you come in and day one, day two, day three, you're shutting them down. So my MVPs of the series goes to the starting rotation.
Real quick, Ryan, before you jump in here, give Ben some credit here. 18 2/3 innings, guys. 2 earned runs, 4 hits, and count them, 24 strikeouts. Starting rotation is those three. I can get in the playoff series with them three, Ben. Excellent choice. Yeah. How about you, Ryan?
Yeah, that's hard to argue right there, right? So I think I'm going to go with Ben. I'm going to give the hats off to the starting pitchers this series. But my honorable mention is going to be Mauricio Dubon because he is an absolute freaking dog out there. And anytime he comes up with runners scoring position, it seems like he comes through. And he had 5, 6 RBIs this series. So I'm going to have him as my honorable mention. But the starting pitchers get the MVP because they gave up 2 earned runs and just absolutely shoved the entire series. So hats off to those guys. And now it's on to you, Ken. What you got?
100%. Ben's right. It's a pitching. I mean, in these series, you're starting pitching against another great starting staff or just a great team like the Dodgers. They were tremendous. Ben hit it out of the ballpark. And that's why he's such an excellent baseball mind. So I got to go with my honorable mention. And it's not because he was my pick to click. I absolutely love the bunt by Harris. Again, in these games, you got every run matters. And for him to realize he saw Matt swing against Robleski and he went, you know what, this might be a little tough ride until I see a few pitches. So let me go ahead and lay one down to Max Muncy because he has no idea I'm going to do this. It actually pivoted the game to get the runs in the game. So Money Mike, we know you follow all of us. We thumbs up, buddy. That was on his own, they said. I think because he saw Matt, we went, this might be a problem for a left-hander, and lay down a bunt. So that's my honorable mention, but Ben's 100% right. That rotation was beautiful. So we got the team that actually nobody realizes, but they're the ones that's closest to us for best record, and that's the Chicago Cubs are coming to town. So a lot of stuff before we break the Cubs down. We have 3 injuries coming out of this. Looks like Yaz, he got hit with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Luckily, hit the shoulder first into his helmet. Reports on him. I've been on there with I won't tell you who it is. They know who it is. Things look good with Yaz. Yaz looks like they'll check him out. Eli is struggling a little bit. Got a headache. That's a sign of concussion. So they might have to go in the concussion protocol. So I'm into the IL, a little 7-day IL. So it'll be interesting what they do there. Murph got hit on the hand. He finished the inning, but he went to grab the bat out of the bat rack and couldn't hardly squeeze it. So Walt decided to pinch hit Dom Smith. Never a bad idea. But we got to keep an eye on Murph now. So that's a lot going into that series. We do need Murph. We'll go talk a discussion on Murph real quick. We do need Eli, and we do need Yaz because we can't lose 2 outfielders at one time. Ronnie may be coming back Wednesday or Thursday, Ben. That'd be interesting. But Walt kind of slowed that number down. Bo's one that put it out, and Walt's like, he's got a lot more boxes to check off. So So we're going to the Cubs series. We could be down 3 outfielders, and maybe we'll see how Sean reacts. Hopefully he gets on the plane, everything's fine. And I've had that happen to guys. They get hit on the hand, they can't squeeze for a little bit. 2 hours later, everything's fine. So let's hope that's what's going on with Sean. So that's going on. When we get to the Cubs series, y'all been asking if Grant Holmes is hurt. Well, he's not. We've been telling you, it's just one of these things. He's going to pitch Tuesday night against the Cubs. Richie on Wednesday, and on Thursday, Chris Sale. So, Ben, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the Cubs series as here come the Cubbies into town.
Hey, it's going to be a tough series, man. They got some good ball players on that team. I know Dansby coming back to Atlanta, obviously. Got Nico Horner on that team. They just have a bunch of really, really good ball players. And they have a really good record for a reason. So don't underestimate them. Take the day off on Monday and really use it to rest up and get your mind right and get out there and let's take another series.
Yeah, Ryan, you're the hitting guru. They're going to throw 3 guys. We don't know which order. We'll try to break down Braves hip coil for you. Imanaga is the best ones coming out of the group. And then they've gone to throw 2 guys. Ben Brown's been a savior for them. He's saved their season. They've had some other injuries. And then Colin Ray is going to throw. The order is kind of mixed up, different services. So what do you think about the Cubs pitching coming in and our hitters this series?
Again, look, I'll dive into it really deep on over at Brave Sip Cool, so y'all want to check that out. But I think again we match up pretty well with these guys. I mean, look, we haven't. They're not going to be anything better than what we faced. Like I keep going back to that. They're not going to be better than anything we've seen out of Seattle. We saw the best 3 the Tigers could possibly throw at us. Like we keep seeing like everybody's best pitching. I will say, except the Dodgers, I don't think we saw their best pitchers. But we just keep checking boxes. And I'm not trying to disrespect the Cubs, but look, you haven't faced this lineup. You haven't faced the Braves. You might have faced the Dodgers. Dodgers aren't clicking on all cylinders, but this lineup is clicking pretty daggum good right now. So, and I like the way the boys are swinging the bats. I like the way they're game planning these guys. So I think we're going to do really well this series.
Real quick, before we get into y'all's pick, click, and what you think the series is going to be, the Cubs are really good at home. They're 9-9 on the road after getting shut out back-to-back games in Texas. They're going to be a ball team comes here that hadn't scored a run since Friday night. It's a long time. And so that team, I talked to Ryan before Ben was here. Ben had stuff going on with a phone call, but they were built for Wrigley Field, and you're seeing it now. Their team is absolutely built to play in Wrigley Field, and they struggle on the road. That doesn't mean we're going to sweep them. But I think we do have the advantage, Ben. So who's your pick to click, and how you think the series goes?
Yeah, pick the click's going to be a tough one this series because you have some really good pitching going up on both sides of the ball. But I do think we see Ozzie come back and really reassert himself after a down series or 2. I mean, he hasn't been awful by any means, but he hasn't been the dominant force that we saw in the first month of the season. So I think I'll give it to Ozzie just because I got a hunch. No real scientific reason, no real baseball reason, just a feeling.
I like it. I mean, Ozzie's a battler up there too. So I mean,
Yeah.
he had a ball that was 2 inches off the ground in LA for a 2-run score. So what about you, Ryan?
I picked this dude a lot, but I really liked the way he was swinging the bat in LA. I really liked the way his approach was. I really liked his swing decisions and his takes. Like everything about it in that series, he looked so much better. It's going to be big, thick Austin Riley. I could see him going for a 6-7 hit spot with a couple bombs this series. There you go, 6-7. So big, thick is going to be my pick to click against the Cubbies.
I'm going to step on the limb, guys. I really don't want to do this, but because I don't really know 100% what the Cubs are going to throw at us, and I know that Imanaga, he will probably be on the bench for this game, unless Murphy's banged up still. But I'm going to go Dom Smith. I think Dom Smith is going to finally get some playing time. I think he loves hitting in Truist, and I think Dom Smith's going to have a great series. So that's my pick. So we're going to win 1, 2, 3. They're not going to sweep us. So 1, 2, or 3, Ben. 2. Ryan?
We're winning 2 out of 3, baby. 2 out of 3.
Sweet. I'm going sweet. we're going to send Dansby crying back to Chicago, and my son can call him and make fun of him. So he's supposed to come talk. I tried to get him to come talk to us Monday, but he's a busy guy. Mother's Day, I understand all that. So, final thoughts tonight. Get out of here. What do you got, Ben?
Ben's Baby Braves took a break this week. I had some stuff going on, so sorry, wasn't able to get anything released, but we'll be working on that in the coming week, and hopefully we'll release on Sunday. This week's Ben's Baby Brave is going to be Luis Guanipa, who has been absolutely tearing it up down in Augusta. If you haven't looked him up, look him up because he has been tearing the cover off the ball. And fun fact, there are now 10 players in all of minor league baseball who are 20 years of age or younger with at least 5 home runs and 10 stolen bases. And the Braves have half of them. All right. So these kids are raking down there. They're doing great. You got Luis Guanipa, John Heel, Tate Southacene, Eric Hartman, and one other one. I can't remember off the top of my head. Regardless, they have a lot of these guys who are just uber athletic and are really coming into their own. So if you really are missing some Braves baseball, check out the lower minor leagues. Augusta, Rome, even Columbus has some fun games. Those are my final thoughts.
We're going to have more fun games because some of that Rome bunch is fixing to move up to Columbus, and Guanipa's probably going to go to Rome. So Rome fans, stay in there because he's coming.
Yep.
And another thing, remember, find Ben at Weaver_Cards on all the social media. And he did not put out a video, but he's an accountable person. He's better than Colin Cowherd. I was going to say Colin's who's right, who's wrong. He did a breakdown of his top 10 going into this season, and he graded them, I thought, great. I told him that's excellent work. So check that out. He put out the post. Talk to him, write it back, and ask why they got these grades because he hit the grades to me spot on. So, Ben, hopefully you'll get some people asking you, and check that tweet out. He's got it on his at Weaver_Cards. Rhino, what's your final thought?
My final thought is that the Rome Emperors are apparently like the 47 Yankees murderers row right now because
27 Yankees.
27,
Right.
excuse me, 27 Yankees. But John Heel, he continues to develop at a ridiculous rate, in my opinion. The one thing that I really wanted him to work on was starting to drive the ball to right center field, and guess what that boy is doing? He is clicking up the ranks pretty quickly, and I can see a phone call for him and a bunch of his teammates going up to Columbus here pretty soon.
Yeah. Sorry, Ken, real quick. On the Rome Emperors today, 6 homers, 2 from John Heel, 2 from Eric Hartman, 1 from Isaiah Drake, 1 from Cody Miller. Yep. And those boys down there won 15-3, and they have been putting up some stupid offensive numbers. I mean, it is ridiculous. So, like I said, if y'all want to watch some fun ball and, don't want to watch the big league club for whatever reason, because minor league baseball is off on Mondays every week, which is crazy to me that you have a scheduled off day for the major league team and your entire minor league affiliates. I digress. But yeah, go check out those teams, and they're going to be moving up here very, very soon.
Yeah, last thing on Hill real quick. He's really quick inside, and he absolutely can hit a 97-mile-an-hour fastball painted inside. And he's driving oppo. He's my favorite prospect, if you can't tell. Like, I am really high on that kid.
Jason, Ben quoted him one of the first ones. He looks like Ronnie as a kid. I'm telling you, he looks just like Ronnie. So we'll see. Maybe it was Ryan. Hey, real quick for the Royals and Red Sox and Giants fans, Cody's going to make a hell of a second baseman for y'all. So Cody's, I don't know where Cody's going to go in our system, but he's a hell of a player. I've seen him play since college, and I think he's a blue chip trade prospect, Ben. Before I get to my final thought, Ben, I had this asked on mine DMs. I said, you can write Ben yourself. He'll write you back. Which one of the Rome guys makes it to the Braves right now in your mind first, the Atlanta Braves? Not this year, but who you think is going to come to the big club from Rome?
John Hill. He's going to be the first one up. You have guys like Eric Hartman who are absolutely killing it, but as much as Hartman is doing right now, we do have to remember he was a 20th round pick, and he wasn't the big name player coming out of high school in Canada. So he has a lot to work on. You know, he has some swing decision issues that they want to see improve. But John Hill, he was in spring training, if you guys remember. So the Braves obviously see that he has some just overwhelming talent, and they obviously want to see him progress. But they wouldn't promote him in to spring train, major league spring training, if they didn't see that potential in him. So if anybody's going to make it first, I think it would be Hill.
So too. Real quick, the part of the thing they need to, with Eric Hartman and John Hill, is when they get to Columbus, they get to face former major league pitching or close to major league pitching. That gives them a good eye. In Columbus's ballpark, the ball doesn't travel as well as Rome, so they'll get to figure out what that is. I don't need you to tell you all that. Weaver, underscore, cards, write him. He will tell you all that. And Lethal Platty does a good job too. They will take you there. My final thought tonight is, and they're going to laugh, they've been waiting on my final thought. Guys, I love Braves country. Love every one of y'all. But I can't enjoy the games no more. So I don't want you to be mad at me. But I got to do this. When the ball game starts with the Braves, this is getting turned off. I can't answer. I can't have 414 messages today. I love every one of y'all, and I'm bipolar. Ben knows this. I'm bipolar, so I try to answer every one of them back, and I can't enjoy the games anymore. Poor Rhino had to take the brunt of that today. So if I don't answer you while the Atlanta Braves are playing, I will get back to you. I promise you. But my final thought is Coach needs a break from some of y'all, because y'all are up here and down here and up here every pitch. And I can't imagine what the postseason is going to be like. So my phone's going to get turned off during Braves games, and I'll turn it right back on, do the game recap, and I'll answer everyone. You can still write me. Just understand why I'm not writing you back. So that's my final thought, boys. I got to move on from Braves country during Braves games. So that's it for us tonight. Find us at Hardcore Braves. You know it. Weaver underscore cards, at Braves Homer 27, at Braves Hip Coil. I'm at Boyd PC, at Aaron on Deck, and at Lethal Platty. Andrew Davison and Braves Stash is with us now. So we appreciate y'all, love y'all, and peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your lives.